Joining me in the studio is our Environment Editor Valerie Dekimpe. Valerie, can you give us a recap of exactly what is the Montreal Agreement?
Right. Well, it is the starting point of negotiations in Cali in Colombia. So 2 years ago in 2022, countries agreed on a landmark deal to halt and reverse the collapse of biodiversity. So the Montreal Agreement is to biodiversity what the Paris Agreement is to the fight against climate change. So it's this founding document, this accord that is meant to be a blueprint for countries and steer action with a set of targets. And so overall, you have 23 targets, including protecting 30% of the world's land and seas by 2030, restoring 30% of the planet's most degraded ecosystems, ending also subsidies which can be harmful for the environment, for example, leading to deforestation, and also slashing the use of pesticides. Now at COP16, their objective is actually how do we put this agreement into practice?
And where do countries stand now? I mean, has any progress indeed been made?
Well, they're expected to submit national biodiversity plans, more than 196 countries. Now, out of the 196 countries that actually signed the agreement back in 2022, only 10% have actually submitted those official national plans. And what's concerning is that many parts of the world, which are home to crucial ecosystems, are not yet covered by those national plans. So, for example, only 5 of 17 so-called mega-diverse countries, which are home to more than 70% of the world's biodiversity, have submitted plans. You have Australia, China, Indonesia, Malaysia, and Mexico, but you have other countries missing, like Brazil, for example, home to the Amazon rainforest. If you look at G7 nations, you only have Canada, Italy, France, and Japan submitting plans. Colombia, the hosts of this summit, have not submitted a plan either. They say that they will do it over the course of the next 2 weeks, and it is unclear how many other countries will do the same.
And what are some of the main sticking points?
You're expecting to see the same fault lines that you usually see in climate summits, money being a big one. Wealthy nations agreed at COP15 in Montreal to be providing at least $20 billion every single year starting from 2025 in order to help developing nations protect and reach their nature goals. They have fallen short. They have provided $15 billion in 2022. But another major point that is set to be very interesting during this COP, and is quite unique to biodiversity, is genetic information taken from plants, from animals, which is now being used to develop medications or cosmetics, for example. So you see nature's genetic codes becoming a commodity. And that can lead to scientific breakthroughs. That can be positive, but you also see anger growing in developing nations who say they're not actually reaping the benefits of all these research and the money that is actually being made. Many of those countries rich in biodiversity are home to where those physical samples that led to discoveries are from, and they're saying we're not actually being paid or fair share for this. They're even called, countries are calling companies making money out of it biopirates. And so COP26 will be the first summit in which potentially you will see an agreement on that. And what's interesting is that the money being made by companies, potentially there could be a tax that could be used in turn to fund conservation efforts. So that is something that could be quite interesting out of this COP16.
Thank you indeed, Valerie Dekimpe, our Environment Editor.